let's just go here. There's some vocal effects at the bottom here. You can see that. And then back into unsolo. After you publish your song, you basically start sharing it to people to listen to it. It will take a little while to show up. So if you just literally publish it, you might need to wait for maybe 10 minutes or so normally. And then after that, you should be able to find it. Basically, I would have everything forkable. So if you want us, we can always listen to the tracks as well, and then we can kind of figure out how you did stuff. If you want help with anything, we're probably going to do that next lesson because we've only got a limited amount of time this one. We've got about 10 minutes left. So I just want to cover some things, and then maybe next time we'll just, if everyone has a track that they want to listen to, or have us listen to, if they have any questions about it, we can go through anyone. So we probably have enough time for about maybe 5 or 6 next week. So if everyone has an idea and or they want help with something, or they just want to show what they've got, then have that ready for next week, and we'll just maybe spend an entire sort of lesson just listening to people's tracks and answering questions if they have any. Again, if you have any questions about the stuff that we're doing today, then put them in the chat. Mr. Cheese can't add lyrics. We're looking for, by lyrics, I assume you mean vocals, and by that you can just go to loops. And what I've done here is I've searched Vox up here. And we've got all the stuff here. And just at the bottom, you see you've got all these sort of choices. Equally, you could probably search vocals. There's got some sort of stuff here. So we can go in here. You've got all these different vocals you can use here. So remember, you can just search this and then click out there, and that's kind of basically auditioning and stuff. So all the way down here, you don't have to put it in your track. You can just press here, and then you can hear what the vocals are going to sound like without having to necessarily use them in your track immediately. So what we've got here, we've just going to add one other vocal from here. Let's just say, what's this going to sound like? Well, okay, let's just. That's pretty cool, actually. Another track. So this is just a good example of how you can use the audition just to quickly see what the sound is going to sound like without having to drag it into your track every time. Just a bit of time-saving stuff. So let's listen to that. And how it's going to be the other vocal. Kind of works, kind of doesn't. This is kind of a lot of things about using loops is you really just have to try, and eventually you're going to come across something which you like the sound of. Remember, there's no rule about what definitely sounds good. I mean, you need to follow some vague sort of music theory, hopefully, but really with Bandlab, you can play around really quickly with different sort of sounds, vocals, drums, everything. So I'm just going to mute that because I think I preferred that more. Mute that one. I'm just going to loop that again. Yeah, guys, feel free to post your Bandlab usernames. You should be able to find each other as well. If you know each other from school or whatever, then you should be able to find them in the search function. So that's another way of doing it. Again, when you publish your tracks, try and put "You Teach Me" in the name or in the description or both. That way we can just search "You Teach Me" into Bandlab, and then all your tracks should just pop up. But for now, we're just going to loop that again. And in order just to maybe change some bits of the track, I'm just going to go back to some of the stuff we did in our first lesson, which is playing around with BPM. Because I think we can make it maybe sound a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to drag it down to like 94 BPM. Remember, I'm just going to adjust it here. It's going to do it to sing for a little bit. And so this. So it's sounding a lot different, right? But you can even, I mean, let's look at. Let's go to some drum and bass. Remember, This is just an example of how you can just change up a sound just by changing one element of it. So at the moment, we've got sort of a 4 to the floor house beat going on. And by that, I mean this. But because we've slowed it down a bit, then, so I think we can maybe have something which goes a little bit like this. Or maybe, hang on, what have we got here? Breaks, we want some drums. Pop them here. Instead now, I'm just going to mute that. Da, da, da. That sort of thing. Actually, it wants to be a 175, so that's fine. Woo. Oops. 175. E. So we got another kind of different thing really quickly. I mean, it really depends on if that's your kind of thing or not. But we can just example of how you can have the same track and using tempo and time, and just by adding different features, you can make it sound a hell of a lot different. So we're just going to go back to our 120. That's it. And then back down. So you can change something really quickly just by changing the tempo. And that's just up here. You could also change the key. I've left that as it is for now because I don't know how much music theory you guys know. So I'm just going to keep it in D minor. That's what it's set for us. But it's just an example of how you can make major changes to a track just by changing little things up here. Remember, I'm just looping and cycling it around just so we can makes it easiest for us to find samples. So just to go over what we did today, we have looked at adding effects. So I've got one on every track at the moment. So we've used filter, driver, and then reverb. And then remember, you can look at our presets here as well. So I'm just going to go there. And remember, we've got all these presets. So just if you want to add effects really quickly, and you got kind of an idea about what you want to make it sound like, then you've got all this sort of stuff up here. Just going to do sky sound because that sounds interesting. And then we got our synth again. So just to play that. Now, just a few tips just before we finish. If you want to sort of make a bass line sort of fatter, I would really recommend using driver on it. That's really kind of the effect you want to go for. To show you exactly what I mean by that, I'm just going to solo this again and then go back. So if you ever want to make your bass lines come through a little bit better, you add driver. When we get onto mixing, you're going to start to use this sort of tool a lot more. We're going to look at using panning. We're going to look at EQing and different things like that. Actually, we got time to look at EQ now, I reckon. Let's go to back to that. Filter, remember, go on to effects, recommended, and then EQ3. The EQ is going to be your biggest weapon in terms of when you want to mix your songs. Before songs... Yeah.
Sorry, do you want to save that for the next lesson for the EQ?
Oh, yeah, you're right, because we do not have enough time to go. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe the music fundamental might last for
Right, guys, 5 minutes, EQ, go.
Yeah, no, right. That's it. Yeah, no, we'll definitely get through that next week. Again, so I'm just going to go over publishing again really quickly because I know that a lot of people will be looking to sort of make sure we can all listen to each other's tracks. A lot of love for you with the ICT teaching there, Mr. Hines. Well done, you. So again, we've got to...
Mr. Evans, to be honest with you, you don't go to the schools, right? And I hear so many good comments about all the teachers here, Miss Boucherie, Mr. Evans. They love your lessons. They love Bandlab, and Mr. Sims as well. I hear so much good news about all you teachers, but it's rare that I get a nice comment about myself. So it's good to hear it once. But Mr. Evans, Mr. Boucherie, Miss Boucherie, and Mr. Sims, oh, we love you so much, which is great.
Oh, well,
fantastic.
Clearly got good taste. So remember, guys, I am going to put here, I'm just going to call it Chicago House because that's kind of what the sound type we were going to use today. And then I'm going to put You Teach Me just up here. Then I'm going to put this You Teach Me in the description. All that does is means that we can find it, and I'm going to make it forkable. just to see here, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm going to publish. And then published. I'm just going to have a quick look and just to see if everyone else, if I can see all their stuff. What I'll try and set up for the next week is our own group, so we can all be added to the same group. And then whenever anyone posts a track, then everyone's going to see it. Instead of everyone just following each other, you can all find all the tracks for here. But we'll do that next week. I'm just going to see if we can search You Teach Me and see what we get. So we got, yeah, well, so yeah, well done, guys. So we remember to put You Teach Me in the description. That would be really useful. Elijah, I don't know. It may be that you need to make a change on your actual track, and then it might let you publish that way. Not then, yeah. So we got all this stuff here. Remember, if you put You Teach Me, then we can find it. It just makes it so much easier. Ignacio, well done. You got this perfectly. I'm just going to view here. Yeah, so we got sort of different bits and pieces. I would really just add it there just so we can. Yeah, that was that's you're a little bit ahead of us. So yeah, the Bohemian Rhapsody is one of the tracks we're going to use later to discuss mixing. But feel free to have a look at the projects that we've got. That'll give you an idea about where we're going to go to. And obviously, we're going to go through how I did that initial lesson. But feel free. That's like I said, if you guys want to head ahead of the class and just experiment, then that's absolutely fine. What I'm here to do is just to give you an idea about what I think and what the general rules are kind of about in terms of sort of making music and how we can all follow that. But yeah, just to reiterate, You Teach Me in the section will be a really easy way of everyone to find it. And then I'm just going back to library now. Yeah, and obviously these are also the projects that I've been doing. But again, yeah, sort of feel free to look at them. But I would suggest that you kind of wait until the lesson just so you know exactly what you want to do there. But yeah, feel free to follow each other. Interesting. Yeah, perfect. Hello, Kat. And yeah, there's just to go over here. See, we got forking here just to give you a quick idea because we're probably going to do it. See, we got there. Then we got this. There you go.
Perfect.
Exactly. It's an example of how you can use your microphone to record. We're going to go through some Foley stuff. Maybe not next week because we should have a listening party next week. But we'll go through how to kind of make your own sounds after that. Well, the cat is getting a lot of love, so that's.
Sorry, Mr. Evans. They asked me last week to show the cat. I didn't show, so I thought I'd bring on.
I think that we're at the end of time anyway for today.
Yes.
So, we'll end on the happy the image of the cat, and then I will leave you guys to play around with what we've learned today. And just remember to try and publish everything so we can all listen to it. And then maybe we'll spend an entire sort of lesson next week just going through everyone's tracks. We probably won't be able to do everyone's, but if everyone just has their tracks ready to go, then we can just get ready. And if make everything forkable, then we can know everyone. We can sort of look at what everyone's done and maybe fix pieces that they might need help with. So I'm going to leave it there for you guys. And thanks for all turning up and listening so well.
Thank you very much for such a thorough lesson today, Mr. Evans. We learned so much, especially with effects. Guys, can we give a big TYSM to Mr. Evans, please? Yes, Lemon Leo. Thank you very much. Leo, come here. And yeah, so thank you very much. TYSM, Mr. Evans. Like Mr. Evans said, guys, try and finish off some songs because next week you're going to have a listening party, which means we just all listen to everybody's songs and we give them positive criticism to make sure that you can only get better as a musician, okay? Yeah. And I think that is everything, Mr. Evans. So you just want them to finish off their stuff for next week, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just have something ready for us that we can listen to. That would be really good. Yeah, and guys, like if you want to follow each other in bits and pieces like that, then go ahead and do that. That just makes sort of getting the music out there a lot easier. But yeah, just have something ready that we can listen to, and then hopefully we can get through as many tracks as we can, and then hopefully help out with any sort of problems that people have. That'd be perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Mr. Evans. Look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much, everybody else. Fantastic. So Make sure you got your music for your listening party next week. For me, code emoji, and we're going to do the same Kahoot tomorrow so that we all understand it. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Thank you very much. Any questions, guys, you can send it through to info@youteachme.com, and all our teachers will have a look at that, and we will try to answer that as soon as possible. Thank you very much. That's not the correct email address. This is the correct email address. If you have any more questions for myself or Mr. Evans, please let us know. Otherwise, any other issues, you can send it through to info@youteachme.com. I'll post that on there. Thank you very much, guys. Have a lovely evening, and we'll see you tomorrow with your video editing with Mr. Sims. Thank you very much, Mr. Evans.
Yes, guys. Have a nice evening. See you next week.